Hi there, Rick here. Um, so something very interesting happened in the metal markets on Friday after the market closed. Um, gold crashed by as much as about $600. Okay, silver crashed about $22. Okay, um, I'm just gonna read this article here. Okay, because it's just talking about um, the gold crashes in price. Okay, gold prices have recently experienced significant decline, with reports indicating a drop of over 12% from record highs. This downturn is attributed to a combination of factors, including the strengthening of a US dollar, reduced safe haven demand, and profit taking by investors. The Federal Reserve's appoints of Kevin Warsh as the next chair of the Federal Reserve has also contributed to the volatility in the precious metals market. Analysts suggest that the market may be experience a structural shift, with potential market manipulation and forced liquidation contributing to the price fluctuations. Investors are advised to reassess their positions and consider the implications of these price changes on their portfolios. Okay. Um, I heard that as much as $1 trillion got wiped out, from this huge price drop in the precious metals. Yes, $1 trillion. Okay. Just imagine all the call options that were made in China and in North America, in United States, Canada, right? Um, those what is it? Those options just got wiped out. Okay, you had what is it? 6 months of highs I heard in gold that just totally got wiped out. Okay, yes, I'll say that again. You have 6 months of highs in gold that just totally got wiped out. In a matter of what? Um, an overnight 12-hour period, right? Um, so it doesn't change the what is it? The underlying uh, demand for precious metals. Okay, gold is still has a high demand. Okay, silver still has a very high demand. Okay, remember too. Now I'm going back quite a few years. Okay, um, okay, during the '80s. Okay, if gold dropped $600, okay, gold would just literally probably be about $10 an ounce. And silver, it would have been, in the negative territory. Okay. It would be worth pennies. Okay. Um, so I was just reading some of the articles, I was reading some of the comments, from the YouTube videos that I, seen recently. And then, a lot of people were just saying, manipulation of the, by the elites. Okay. One person said, I wonder if this crash happened, uh, to save the banks, okay, from their short positions, okay? Because you have to remember, okay, I heard that there's some very large banks around the world that are shorting silver, or sorry, shorting gold, or even the precious metals, okay? Um, it continues to go up. They're losing in the billions of dollars. Okay, and that's a lot. Okay, so now you have this huge flash crash that pretty well much what kind of like saves the banks, right? Of their short positions. Okay, and just researching the internet, um, there's a lot of people who don't even know why this big crash even happened. Okay. Like, did somebody dump, was it, 20 years supply of silver and gold and platinum onto the market? Like paper contracts, right? And then it sent the price just spiraling down, right? Um, that wasn't the case. Okay. Because um, unless, it's not known yet, okay, how the price actually crashed this much, okay? But another bottom line too is that, okay, it doesn't change the overall fact that, um, United States is still in a lot of debt, okay? Um, so, just a lot of people in the comments, yeah, they just feel that, um, this was done on purpose. Okay, there's some elites that are, doing this on purpose. Okay, to kind of like, cheat the market. Okay, because I felt that. Okay, yeah, it it seems that way because when you have a price drop of that much, in a matter of what, a 12-hour period, $600 and gold, $22 in silver. I know that platinum dropped too, okay? But when you have 6 months of highs and gains in gold, like totally wiped out in a matter of what, a 12-hour period, it, uh, I was going to say, um, it just looks very suspicious, okay? And you have to remember too, okay, you look at the time it happened too, okay? After the market was closed on Friday, it seemed like, okay, it was planned, okay, to crash the precious metals market on purpose, okay, at a specific time, okay, and a specific date, okay. Um, you have to remember too, if there was it people that knew that this was going to happen, okay, um, they could have, was it, bought 10,000, was it, call options that gold would go down or silver would go down, right? They would have made tons and tons of money, okay? Um, that's why some people, they look at the, is it the Chicago Board of Trade? Okay. But anyways, I remember there was a coffee company that in China, um, that somebody bought 10,000 options that the stock would go up. Okay. And sure enough, it did. Okay. So that was the coffee company that was, they were doing they were doing crooked stuff. Okay. Because in 2008, okay, their stock had not crashed. Okay. I think it was up around $43. And then, um, I noticed that it was sometimes even going up when all these other businesses were closed. Okay, but to make a long story short, they were falsifying their earnings. Okay, and I know that the CEO got into trouble. Okay, I don't know how much trouble. Maybe they threw his ass in jail for, um, you know, a bit too. Okay, because you're trading on a major exchange. Okay, and that coffee company too. I remember trading, what is it, so many shares on a call option that the stock would go up, and sure enough, it did. It went up. I think I made a profit of about 800 US dollars. Yeah, that much. Okay, so I remember too. It also told uh who were the main shareholders of that coffee company too. And I remember it was a lot of big names, okay, like big institutions that was involved in it, okay, and yeah, the stock price just shot up, okay. Um, I think it went as high as I think $45, right? But then one overnight period, the stock drops to what, $33. Okay, so if you had a put option in there, yeah, you should have made well, if you bought um a fair amount of shares, okay, even 1,000 shares, um you should have had a profit of at least about $33,000 US dollars. Okay, so you can see the what is it, um the potential of money you can make while trading options. Okay, but it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen Monday. Okay, but already a lot of people are screaming, manipulation. Okay, um because remember too, everybody knew that, yeah, there was a lot of major banks around the world that was trying to short the precious metals. Okay, and then suddenly you have this huge flash crash. Okay, um, it just looks very suspicious to me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Hi there, Rick here. Um, so metals market has been really crazy these past 4 days. Okay, just wanted to show you something. Um, okay, on January 29th, okay, gold was $5,506. Okay, you see that there? Okay, now gonna move to over here. Okay, so I've just what is it? A couple of days later, okay. Um, look at now, okay, for February 2nd at 1:30 a.m., okay. Um, it dropped as low as $4,473.20, okay. So that was more than a $1,000 drop in a matter of just a couple of days. Okay. Um, that's just truly amazing. Okay. Um, you have to remember, okay, um, if something happened like this back during the 80s, okay, gold would be in the negative. Okay. Um, imagine it dropping, okay, to literally um, 10 cents an ounce, or uh, yeah, 25 cents for an ounce of gold. Okay, because remember, in the 80s, gold was not as expensive. Okay, I think it was around $237 an ounce. Okay, um, it did in the 80s. I think it did shoot up to about $800. Okay, but remember, if you had a drop like that, okay, gold would be worth almost nothing. Okay, let's go over to silver here. Okay, so I'm just looking at the 5-day for silver. Okay, you can see that. Okay, it got as high on January 29th. Okay, 9 a.m. 100 $120.08. You see that there? Okay. Now, when we had that flash crash, okay, let's see here. Okay, it looks like it got as low as $72.67. Okay, see that there? February 2nd, $72.67. Okay. Just want to check something out here. So I subtracted the high from a few days ago, okay, by the low, okay. That was a $77.41 drop in price for silver, okay, just in a matter of a couple of days, okay. Right now it's sitting at $77.01 right now, okay. So what is that? Yeah, silver lost as much as 50% of its value,
Yeah, that much. I'll say it again. Silver lost as much as 50% of its value in just a couple of days. Okay. Just reading some of the comments on the internet, a lot of people just saying how, um, it's price manipulation. Okay. Um, Before, when the price of silver used to come crashing down, or at least gold, okay, um, they would dump as much as 1 year's supply of paper silver on the market, on the stock market, okay. Um, but just researching the internet, it seems like um, that wasn't the case. Okay, so whatever they done, okay. Now I'm talking about a lot of major banks around the world. Okay, I think a lot of people just they don't know how they done it. Okay, but reading one of the articles, comments on the internet, just saying how it's kind of funny a bit how paper silver can control the price of a physical commodity. Okay. Um, Another person was saying on the internet, there was no um, physical silver that entered the market. Okay. Um, Sometimes too, when there's a big physical delivery of maybe uh, quite a few tons of silver and gold that enters the market, right? Then the price would go down too, right? But just checking, the price of gold for today. Okay, it dropped about another $97. Okay, it will reach a certain point where buyers would jump back in and start buying again. Okay, but $1,000 movement in gold and a $77 movement in silver, I think it just surprised a lot of people. Okay, like there's a lot of people that just can't believe it. Okay, because remember, $1,000 price movement in gold. I remember when gold, okay, just $100 movement in gold was considered really amazing. Okay, and just a matter of, well, yeah, one day it dropped as much as $600, right? Whoever was shorting silver, I would say that they made a lot of money. Okay, um, if they were hedging, okay, very aggressively, you're talking as much as billions of dollars, if not even $1 trillion. Yeah, if you're shorting gold and silver that heavy, you would have made that much money. Okay, um, in the billions, if not even in $1 trillion. So I think a lot of people just see this as very suspicious. Okay, because for a movement like this, you would think that, okay, the mainstream media will pick up on the story. Okay, it would be front page news, right? And everybody would be talking about it, right?